All right, so for the printing, this is the second time I've had to record this video, right? So I'm going to talk about the printers that I use. So if you are on the edge of, hey, I want to get a printer and I want to try this out, then I'll give you my Rex. Okay, I haven't been printing that long, maybe like 4 or 5 months. So I have my printers behind me. I'll kind of walk through each one, what they do, so you can kind of get an estimate on what it is that you're wanting to print versus what type of machine that you should probably get. All right, so for the first machine, this is a machine that got me into 3D printing, which is this guy right here. This is the FLSUN Q5. I want to say I got it from, God, maybe like 200 bucks, right? So this is an FDM printer, just like this one down here at the end that's working right now. So with this printer, this one's considered a Delta, and what this does is it prints things pretty quick, okay? So for these two FDM printers, the type of filament that I like to use is I use Overture PLA, which is just basic PLA, and I'll use this for a lot of the prints. You aren't going to see heavy wear, comes bound up. That's what's on that machine over there. And then for other prints like the Racer Crest, I used PLA Plus, which is just by FLSUN. Apparently it's a little bit stronger. I really haven't noticed much of a difference. I know the Racer Crest, when I was in the process of building it, it fell off the table and it was fine. So that's good. So those are the two types of filaments that I personally use that I've had good success with. Now, so for the Delta, you can get some, I would say, small to medium sized prints off of it. So one thing to keep in mind is that the Delta has a round build plate, and so therefore when it builds, it's going to build in a cylinder. So if you're trying to print off walls, right, or something square, you're losing a lot of the print area because it's a circle. Naturally, when you're making it or building it, I should say, the build plate, as you get higher, it kind of goes up as like a cone. So let's just say like this is 200 millimeters. Once you get up to the top, you're not going to have 200 millimeters of print area. You're going to have like a small quarter size. Now, out of all of this stuff, I printed all of this stuff off of this machine. This one obviously came in 2 bits, so it got printed up to about right here, and then I had to finish making the bits. So, you know, your moisture evaporators, you can do small droids and just droids in general. You can do bigger weapons like this tripod freaking blaster. I printed off Darth Maul's speeder bike from it. Pretty happy with the results. Looking back in hindsight, probably should have did the handlebars and pedals and some of the smaller stuff in the resin printer, but I didn't have that one at the time. And I also have pieces for a cantina scene. So that's kind of a lot of the prints that you can get off of that one. Now, obviously, if this is something that you're looking to get into, I recommend the Q5. It's a little bit smaller, doesn't cost as much, and it's an easy shoe-in to start printing so you can work on your process before you start moving on to other things. So the next one that we're going to talk about, we'll talk about the one that's actually printing right now. and then I'll move over to the resin printer. So, all right, so for the big printer, right? So the big printer, this is a Ender 3 version 2. They do not come this big. So this particular kit I upgraded with the Ender Extender 400 XL kit, which took my build plate from a 200 by 200, and I think like, I don't know, maybe up to like 250 like build pattern, to a 400 by 400 up to 500 millimeters tall. So this is for the price, it's a really big printer. So the cool thing about Overture PLA, when you order them, they'll send out like a build surface. So I have these things just laying around all over the place. So this is actually 200 by 200. So you can imagine the size difference. So I've effectively like quadrupled the build size. I guess how that would be calculated. I don't know. So I was able to get all this, the printer for like 140, 120, something like that. And the upgraded kit, that was like 140, 150. I recently added a second Z axis, so it's being controlled from both sides. And now I'm getting even better prints. And the build plate, probably about like another 150, and the BL Touch or CR Touch, which probes the bed to auto level, that was like 40 bucks. So I think, I don't know what math is. It's probably anywhere from like $400 to $500 to buy the printer and to upgrade it. To get this size from Creality, you're looking upwards of like $800 to $1,000, I believe. So very, very good investment. I love it. Like I said, I printed the Razor Crest off of it, and I had this thing going for like a month and a half. Right now I have Boba Fett's throne being printed right now. It's got, apparently, it says 3 hours, but I think it's going to be longer than that. So beyond that, I have like Jabba's throne, whatever, pedestal. So this will obviously go with that Boba Fett throne. So you can get really big prints off of it. And so that's where that one comes in. So when I was printing off the Razor Crest, I was printing big pieces off of this one, while like the small inner working pins and stuff like that, they were going off of the Q5. So I had two printers going, and yet it still took me quite a while to get everything printed off so I could start building that. So I'll put a link in the description about this printer, all the upgrades that I've done to it. So if you're like, okay, I want to dive head first and start making some ships and armor and stuff like that, like this is the machine that you're going to want. If you want to cosplay Mando or any type of stormtrooper and you want to make all your armor, this is the machine to do it on. Okay, so then last one we're going to talk about this resin printer. I'm just going to slide over. It'll be easier that way. So the resin printer, this was a new purchase. This printer is the Elegoo Mars. It's a version 1. I believe now they're on like version 3 or whatnot. So this resin printing is a little bit different than it is with the other types of printers. Mainly because now you're dealing with a liquid, and it's making that print out of the liquid. It's actually a really cool process. It's interesting to watch. Now, the one big difference between these two and this guy is this thing has a tiny build surface. But with that being said, this thing can print tiny objects in amazing detail. You're looking at, I want to say, like these printers go down to 0.2 millimeters, which is like 200 microns, whereas this thing can print at like 5 microns. And if you don't know what a micron is, it's really small. If you take a piece of your hair, right, and I used to tell this when I was teaching the military, and we were talking about HVAC systems and filters and stuff like that. So if you were to take your hair and you were to blow it up to a foot wide, a micron is like a pin dot inside that dot of hair. So that would be like 1 micron. So you're looking at amazing detail. So the type of prints that you get off of this, I have like my gargoyles for my Java Palace throne, whatnot. I have a couple different ones. Still working on that, trying to figure out the size. You can do weapons, like this mortar kit that I have printed off. All the other pieces are around there. Your own custom head sculpts. So once I can figure out how I want to actually go about building them, I'm going to do Echo from Bad Batch, so that's his head. You can do a whole bunch of, what was it, 1/12 scale armor pieces. So I have a pauldron, I have a lightsaber here, you know, and it's in great detail. The other thing, Tech didn't come with glasses, so when you take his helmet off, he doesn't have glasses. Well, I have Tech glasses. All I gotta do is get them painted down. And I have Tech static pad, which he also didn't come with. And so that's the type of stuff that you would want to print off of a resin printer. It goes by pretty quick, depending on the type of resin that you use and whatnot. Now, as far as the resin that I have and stuff that I would recommend, just because it's easy to work with, is this water washable resin. It comes from Elegoo, so the makers, and this stuff's easy to clean. You get your print. When you clean off your print, you wash off the excess resin, because your print is surrounded by a whole bunch of liquid resin. So you want that gone, so you use water to clean it off. So that's really nice. This new stuff that I got is this Suratech Fast. I can get quicker prints. It doesn't take as long to cure for each layer, which is nice. And it's said to be stronger than this polymer resin, and I believe it. I've had some of these gargoyles break, and that was with that water washable, and this Fast stuff I haven't had it break yet, so that's also nice. If you need to do anything in clear, FLSUN has the water washable resin that's also clear or transparent, whatever. So this is the stuff that I use to get my windows to stick in place. I just painted that on the plastic pieces, used a little UV light, cured it, and it was my glue, because I knew if I used glue, everything was going to get cloudy. So that's how I got my windows to stick. So, I mean, this is a nice little printer. If you can find one used, I say go for it, because ever since I've got it, I've been printing off a whole bunch of small stuff. Okay, so yeah, before I let y'all go, on the resin printer, you're gonna need 2 things. Really, 1, 2 if you want your life to be easier. So the first one is an ultrasonic cleaner. So with this, you fill it up with water. If you have a water soluble resin, you fill that up with water, you drop your print in, you run it, it cleans all the excess resin off of your print, which is great, because if you try to throw your print into UV light, you're going to have a coat of resin that's now going to harden, and you're going to lose detail, and you're just going to have a trash print. So this is really nice. That new resin that I got that I have yet to try out, that one needs to be cleaned with alcohol. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to open this up, fill this up with alcohol, and I'm just going to run the print straight through this. Now, warning of caution, these do get hot. Don't close the top of the lid. And I'm going to sit here, I'm going to watch it because I don't want this thing to go off. So just with anything, be safe about, you know, what it is that you're doing and whatnot. So yeah, an ultrasonic cleaner, definitely nice to have. Not a must. You can manually clean your prints. This just makes your life easier. The other thing is a curing machine. What this is going to do is going to cure your final prints, because when you pull that off the machine, your prints, yeah, they're hard, but they're brittle. They're not fully cured. Okay, so this machine's going to go through and it's going to fully cure your print, so it's going to be nice and hard. So how this works inside, it has a turntable. Already got prints on there. So it has a turntable that starts spinning once light hits it. So that's all solar powered. It's also UV powered, and this is a UV chamber. So on the inside it has LEDs and it's all reflective. So you put your parts on there for cure, put the top on, turn on the switch. It has a timer up top, so you would select your time, how long you want it to cure. It's got 2 minutes, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, and then you hit start. Okay, and that's going to prints the machine, and your prints are just going to spin around and they're going to get cured. So this is a really nice machine. There was a bunch of them online. I went with this particular one because out of all the reviews, I didn't see any issues with the buttons, which is what some of the other machines had. And this is just a standalone. So I know like Elegoo, they make a wash and cure machine that you have to put in a basket. It dips your part in and whatnot. So I like this. It's a little bit, it's a simpler setup for me. But yeah, this is what I'm rocking. I'll put a description and a link below. But yeah, so that's my printer situation. If you have any questions, you know, in the comments, and feel free to ask anything that you want. You know, I'm here for you. I don't have to be doing this, but I want to, you know, help everyone out as much as I can. And so, like in all these different printer groups, I try to answer any questions that people have, just because I knew that I was struggling at one point and somebody helped me. So now I'm just trying to fill that void. Like, okay, now you have somebody you can come and ask. If I don't know the answer, then I'm gonna, you know, I'll try to find it for you. But we'll catch you guys in the next video, and hopefully I'll see all y'all's prints coming out. All right, bye.